Hi, this is Connie Irvine with CMK Connections. I bring you interviews with businesses I meet here in Hillsboro, Oregon. Recently, I sat down with Heather Morrison with Bold Beyond Belief. This is her interview. Hello everyone, this is Connie with CMK, where we bring you interviews with local businesses here in Hillsboro. Today I am talking to Heather Morrison with Bold Beyond Belief. Hello Heather, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what Bold Beyond Belief is.
In a nutshell, Bold Beyond Belief is a program that identifies what's getting in the way of people achieving their dream life. So in essence, I want to help people live out their Pinterest board. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because we all start Pinterest boards, but we just sometimes don't do anything with it.
That's right. Whether that's a vision board or a Pinterest board or their quarterly goals or whatever that looks like to them, there's starting them and then there's finishing them.
So you're helping people make movement.
Correct.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So what created this desire to build your business?
You know, it started out as a way to help people find their confidence in an effort to achieve their dream life. And then I quickly realized that achieving your dream life is way more involved and layered than just having confidence. You know, I have confidence and I wasn't living my dream life. And I found that I was constantly putting things on my bucket list and my vision board and Pinterest and my daily to-do list. And then, you know, time would roll by and those dreams would fall to the bottom of my priority list and go unfulfilled again. And I'd find myself really frustrated and depressed. And then the excuses would start rolling in, right? I don't have enough time. I'll do it when my son goes to college, when I lose weight, when I'm not so busy, when I actually feel like doing it. And I started thinking, why do I sabotage myself? Why is it that I know what I want with every fiber in my being, and yet I'm not doing what I need to do to get it? And so I'd go to countless conferences and read endless motivational blogs and self-help books, and I really became an overeducated underachiever. And I thought, am I just lazy? And I don't think that was it, because when I really wanted to do something, I'd actually accomplish it. So, you know, I figured there's got to be something else there. So I went to work to find out. And this really was a case of physician heal thyself, meaning attend to your own shortcomings before helping others. And I've always had a love for educating and lifting others up and motivating people, challenging them to see their potential and worth. And it really saddens me and angers me to watch people play small in terms of their confidence and their gifts and their value and their dreams. And yet here I was doing exactly that with my own life. And so I had to walk through that fire myself and figure out how to stop getting burned. And so this was kind of born out of wanting to help others find that path.
I think a lot of people can relate to exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
You have that passion, and yet, you know, why are we not moving forward towards that? Why do we keep stopping and doing all of those motivational things and books and stuff like that, but we're still not then taking the steps?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. What is the biggest opportunity you see around your program for those who seek its teachings?
For them to realize that they aren't broken or less than, or something needs to be fixed, or they need external validation, and everything they need is already within them. The only person that can truly change you is standing in your own shoes right now, and you have everything you need. You just need a little help finding it. So I think that a lot of times we think that we're broken, or I don't have that capability of fixing it, and you have more strength internally that people just don't tap into. And again, they're looking for that external validation. And I don't think we need to go outside of ourselves. I think we just need to figure out how to find what's already within us.
Awesome. Name some specific areas you focus on in serving your clients.
So we identify 5 key areas that contribute to the big fat gap between knowing and then actually doing, right? And so I mentioned before that I started my journey in thinking that confidence was going to cure all. And I think confidence plays a big role in it, but I don't think that that's all there is. And so I determined 5 different motivating factors. And the first one was lack of confidence, right? So in terms of that, we talk about building big, bold confidence and what that's going to look like. And I don't think everyone has the same dream of getting out in front of people and talking and educating people. This might just be somebody that's looking for confidence to get up in front of an audience in an audience of 2 or 3 in a meeting and talk, or to have that confidence to talk to their spouse, or to have confidence to talk to their child, or to have confidence to walk into something that they've never done before. So we talk about the big, bold confidence and how to build that. Number 2 is lack of motivation. So with that, I talk about mastering your motivation, your movement, and your momentum. Some of us are really good at getting started, but then you have to stay moving and you have to keep going. So how do you start that? I've had a million starts in my life. How do you start that but continue it? And I always call that the C word, which is consistency, right? And so I think there's great magic in that. Number 3 is being afraid of the outcome. And I call that component fighting fear with facts. And oftentimes we shut ourselves down before we get started based on something that most likely will never happen. We play out the scenario in our head and it's based in fear. It's not based in facts. And we shut ourselves down before we even start. So we talk about that, being afraid of the outcome and letting go of that. Number 4 is lack of time. The interesting thing is that we see so many people that accomplish so many things and they don't have any more access to any more minutes in their day than we do. So how do we master that? And so I talk about, the goal that you set in January that you wanted to complete by December doesn't happen in a vacuum, or it doesn't happen on that day in the calendar marked someday, because that day doesn't exist, right? And so I talk about maximizing your moments, because that's when that truly happens. How do you get that body that you're always looking for? Well, it happens every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the treadmill. The moments that make up our lifetime. And that's how those goals happen. And then number 5 is the lack of knowledge. And right now there's an overabundance of information right now, so I don't think it's that the information isn't out there. But I talk about how to navigate the knowledge and what that looks like in terms of action steps. I myself knew how to find the self-help books and knew how to find all the classes that I wanted to, and I knew how to tap into those resources. But then how do you navigate that and really distill and weed through all the information that's coming at us to figure out what we're actually going to do? Because at the end of the road, that's what's really going to matter. Is I can know all these things, but what am I really going to turn into application, right? What theory am I going to turn into application and actually do? And so distilling that knowledge, that's a skill set. And so I help people with that as well.
Yeah, that consistency and taking the steps, I think, is important. That's where great, I got an idea, and that's what I want to do.
Yep.
But then don't know how to take that further, and then, of course, being consistent with those steps. So it's great to know somebody like you can help people figure out what those steps are.
Right.
And then figure out how they can implement that, because time, I think, is the other. It's great that you pressed upon that. We all say that we don't have time, but the time's there. We just have to look at it and see what we're doing with our time, and that we don't allow that to hold us back.
Right. Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What are some important things you find customers are looking for with regards to your type of service?
So 2 things. So first thing I think is belief. I think people want to believe that this program is going to be different and then it's going to work for them, right? Because I think especially now there's such an onslaught of coaches and programs and what's going to be different about this one? Why should I believe that this program is going to work for me this time? What's going to make it stick? So I think the belief is huge. People want to know why this is going to work. And if I can create that vision for them and create that belief for them, that's one of the things that I think people really look for in terms of someone that can walk them through the steps. The second thing is what I call in the trench tactics. I think that we've become this culture who's really good at doing affirmations and vision boards and goal setting and visualizations and manifestations, and we fall short on actually going to work for it, right? There's The Secret there was a program a while ago called The Secret, and I think there's huge power and strength in that. But then we all forgot that I want to go out and have that home, that dream home, but if I don't work in the meantime on getting that dream home, they're going to come and repossess my car, right? So I think that there's that pie in the sky, that dream life that everybody wants to live, but then you have to, on Monday morning, actually go out and do some work for it. So that's where I talk about in the trench tactics. I think they truly want to know how to bring their vision board to life, right? There's the knowing, and then there's the doing.
Where do you service or do business?
The Portland metropolitan area right now in terms of in-person opportunities, but I'm able to serve my clients anywhere through my online group and one-on-one coaching programs.
What should people expect to see in 2019 regarding Bold Beyond Belief?
So the plan right now is to really scale up the visibility and the reach of the program.
What sets you apart from other inspirational, motivational speakers?
I provide people with a high level strategy, and then I follow it up with in the weeds tactics. I think one of the biggest frustrations I've experienced in my journey was that I would attend a conference or a workshop, I'd be super energized and ready to set the world on fire, and then I'd leave the conference and I'd go back home and I'd find myself sitting at the desk on Monday morning thinking, all right, that was great. I'm fired up and I have all this energy and I can see the vision. That was never the issue for me, not being able to see that vision. But I don't know what I'm doing on Monday morning at 9 o'clock on how to achieve that vision. So that's something that I really think that people are lacking is what does that look like when the crowd is gone and all those people aren't there anymore and the raw motivation isn't there anymore and there's no one there holding my hand, because as an entrepreneur, that's one of the challenges we face.
Right.
It's radio silence when you sit back in your
Right.
office and now you have to do all of those things that we just talked about.
It's just you.
How do we do that? So that's one of the things that I think sets me apart. You know, we start thinking, I don't know where to start, or I'd be so overwhelmed with the big picture I painted. I'd just start thinking, I'll start tomorrow. And I would completely shut down. And it was that all or nothing type of thinking. And then the failure cycle would repeat itself, right? And then I'd go off and collect another program. I'd be really good at collecting programs, thinking I'd absorb things through osmosis, right? And I confused being busy with being productive. And I'd go out and find another program so I wouldn't have to think about all the money I just spent on this last program that I'm not actually working. And then I get frustrated and thinking, why am I not working that program? And then that whole cycle would repeat again. So I think, how does this amazing vision I just painted translate into what I need to be doing on a day-to-day or a week-to-week basis? And how do I keep from repeating my past failures? And what's going to be different this time? And so this program not only provides those bite-sized action steps that provide the brushstrokes for that dream that I just painted, but also provides the insight as to what prevented me from achieving that vision the million times I tried it in the past. What's going to be different this time?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's such a supportive way to get people moving forward, because we all hear that same kind of dialogue of, living your dreams. And then, like what you touched upon with the whole vision thing, we can all vision it, we can all see it, but we do need that help to map that out to get there. What does that actually look like in action step form? So that's beautiful to see that you have that program to be able to, for people to plug that in and finally be able to see the fruition of those dreams and those visions.
And so one of the things that I also do is we really spend time exploring the past. And so I think the past is a great place of reference, but it's not a permanent residence. And so I think before we can start adopting new habits, we need to take just a moment and reflect back on why what we've been doing up until now isn't working.
Right.
And there's a story there usually with people.
Right.
They've been burned by something, they've tried it in the past and it hasn't worked. So we really kind of peel back the layers of the onion and figure out, okay, before we go down the road of starting yet another program and putting those steps into place, why hasn't the last one worked out for you? And to really explore your habits and the psychology behind that, because usually, again, there's a story. It's not just laziness. I refuse to believe that it's just laziness, and we just, it's just, it is easier. It's 100% easier not to do something than it is to do something. That's a fact, right? But for those people like myself that really want something with every fiber in their being and they're just not doing it, why is that? Right. And there's a process behind figuring that out.
And I would imagine in most cases, it's just a matter of that habitual habit of doing the same things over and over again. There's comfort there.
Right.
And then all of those side things that come in, like you were impressing upon with fear, and so being able to understand those things can change, even if it changes just one habit, can make a huge impact in how you move forward. Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time and sharing your Hillsborough business. Please finish by giving us all of your contact information.
Great, thank you. So people can find me on the phone, of course, at 503-360-5275. They can email me at hmorrison, that's MORRISON, at boldbeyondbelief.net. My web is the same, boldbeyond And then my address is 54700 Southwest Scoggins Valley Road in Gaston, Oregon, 97119. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram under The Bold Beyond Belief as well.
Love it. Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you so much for having me.